Okay, so today we're going to do the EOC 2015. We're going to do question 1 through 5 now. Then you will have another video for 6 to 10. Now let's see number 1. You read the question first, and of course, in the day of the star, I ask all my students to ask for a highlighter. So we're going to highlight all the important information. The scatter plot shows the number of visitors of a beach each day and the high temperature in the degree Fahrenheit that day. So this is the number of visitors versus the high temperature. So like you see here, this is correlation. So far, this is what we have. Based on this scatter plot, which statement appears to be true? So let's see the statement. Typically, correlation are easy question to answer. This is a non-linear correlation. So we know this is wrong. Because like if you see here, all these correlation fit in one line almost. Yeah, this is a linear. This is a linear correlation. Non-linear means your point, it has to be spread everywhere like this. This could be not non-linear if you add this point. But in this case, this is a linear because all the points fit in one line almost. So we're going to cross A. Let's see. When the high temperature it's above 100 degree Fahrenheit, fewer than 150 means less than 150 visitors are expected at the beach. Let's see. Above 100. So this is the 100. So they said less than 150 visitor. We see this correlation should go up. So up more than what? At least more than 210. At least more than 180. So we expecting something right here in this area, in this zone. So basically this statement also it's false. There is no correlation between the high temperature and the number of visitors in the beach. You know what? This is false too, because there is a correlation. Now the only statement stay, it's D. Let's read it. When the high temperature it's between 75 and 90 degree. So 75 and 90, let's see where is the 75 and 90. So I'm gonna try to highlight 75 right here, and this is the 90. The statement, more than 120 visitors are expected. Let's see if there is more than 120. So this is 120. So yes, it's more than 120 visitors. You see, all the numbers are greater than 120. They're all greater. So this is the right answer. It's D. The question about correlation are simple and easy. You have to read the statement and think about it. Now, question number 2. A man bought X boxes of donuts. Again, I need my highlighter. I need to highlight everything. So, a man, he bought X boxes of donuts for $3.49 each. He paid $50 bill and he received change. If he received more than 10, I'm going to highlight it all, and less than 20. Which inequality represent the number of boxes of donuts he could have bought? So X represent the number of boxes. Okay. So in this case, we're going to talk about real life before we talk about math. So the change everyone knows. Your change will be what? What you give or what you have. What you have minus what you spent, minus the spending. In real life, that's what's your change. So in this case, what he has a $50 bill minus his spending. How much he's spending? $3.49 each box. So $3.49 for each box. And how many boxes he bought? X boxes. So $3.49 times X. So all of these, this is the change he should have. And something special about the change, if you receive more than 10, so the change has to be more than 10, less than 20. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna replace the change by what? By the equation, which 50 minus 349x. Of course, we're gonna keep our inequality less than 20, greater than 10. Now in this case, like you see the x by itself, so you have to solve for x. So the x has to stay by itself. So in this case, I know we talked about before conjunction and disjunction. This is inequality. So we're gonna solve it. So you put your dotted line. The goal is to get rid of the 50, then the negative 349 in second step. So the 50, we're going to subtract 50 in all the sides. So how much 10 minus 50? 10 minus 50, it's negative 40. 50 minus 50 cancel out, so we're going to have negative 349x. And then you keep your inequality the same, 20 minus 50, negative 30. Now the last step, we have to divide everything by the number in the front of the x. In this case, that number, it's negative number. It's negative 3.49. We're going to divide by negative 3.49. In this case, when we divide by negative number, what happened to any inequality? The inequality flip. You see, I flip the inequality before I do my math. So negative 349 cancel out. So you're going to have an x. Now negative divide negative would be positive. Negative divide negative will be positive. Now I'm going to do my math using my calculator. I'm not going to do any mental math in the STAR test. So what's 40 divide 349? So 40 divide 349. Enter. It's 11. So we have 1146. And then what's 30 divide? So 30 divide. Oh, I'm sorry. I was typing there in the wrong place. So 30 divide 3.49. 859. 859. We know the inequality facing this way, or we can flip it all to face this way. It's the same. So you see the x still less than 1149. The x, it's more than 859. You see what I did? I flip it all in one direction because I want to match my choices, my answer choices. So let's see which answer choices will match the final inequality that we have. You know what, just I'm going to put it back. Okay, let me put it back. Okay, so the x has to be more than 859. More. It cannot be equal to 8. It has to be more than 859. So in this case, I'm going to start doing the process of elimination. So x cannot be equal 8. There is no way x equal to 8. Could be equal 9. Could be equal 9. Why? Because 9 is more than 859. Now, x has to be less than 1146. So x cannot be 12. You see, equal to 12 cannot. So since we cross G, we cross H because the 8. Also, since we cross J because the 12, the only answer it's F. Yep, it could be 11 because 11 it's less than 1146, and it could be 9 because the 9 it's more than 859. So let's go to the next one now. This is the simple question you can have. So what type of function? This is quadratic. So we're gonna review. This is a quadratic. They give you graph. Of course, this is a parabola, and they ask what's the solution. So solution. The only thing we should know that the solution are the x-intercept. When your parabola cross what? The x-axis. So this is your x-axis, and this is your parabola. So I see 2 points. The first one is -6. The second one is 14. Now, which one I see? I see 14. So that's the answer. This is the simple question you could have. Now, let's read this one. The function y equal 6 plus 125. So let me highlight it. Again, what type of function? This one. Mx plus b. Oh, this is a linear. So step one, you have to recognize what type of function. So this is linear. I'm dealing with linear equation. So I'm going to put linear. So the function there can be used to find the cost of joining an online music club and buying X song from the website. Based on this information, which statement about the graph of this situation is true? So let's talk about the equation. Always when we have mx plus b, m represent your rate or your slope, and the b represent your y-intercept or starting point, initial value, what you start with. So in this case, you see the 125, that's your m, that's your rate. The 6 could be initial. So let's see the statement. The y-intercept of the graph represents the cost of each song. The cost of each song sound like a rate. Each cost, each song. So that's not the y-intercept. This is a rate. The y-intercept of the graph represents the cost of joining the music club. You know what? Could be when you start at $6 and then you pay $125 for each song. Yes, this could be. Let's see the other statement. The slope of the graph represents the total number of songs bought by member of the club. Nope, this is wrong. The slope of the graph represents the number of the song each member buy when visiting the website. Nope. When you visit, you could buy, you could not buy, but does not make sense. So this slope represents the price of each song, and the $6 could represent the initial fee that when you sign in to purchase a song. Now let's do number 5, and we'll be done with the 5 questions. Then the next video, we're gonna cover the next 5 questions. Now, I see the first figure. I see some figure, parent, that show below, and consist of circles. I have figure 1, figure 2, 3, 4, 5. And they ask me which expression can be used to find the number of circles that make up figure n. The best way, when you see your answer, all the choices, you're gonna figure out that this is quadratic. You see, that's step 1. Step 1, you have to recognize your function. Quadratic, linear. What type of linear? Do we have a system, or do you have just a graph or table? We have to know that. So this is a quadratic, and what they ask expression. So expression is the same as kind of the equation, but without y equal. So in this case, quadratic, it's ax squared plus bx plus c. This is the standard form, and you can see this in the chart formula. But instead of x, what they use n. So we're gonna respect the variable they used. So your equation, you're gonna find it's an squared plus bn plus c. Now we have to find a, b, and c. Your best bet is to use the quadratic regression. But what we need a table. So this is how you're gonna make the table, x and y. X, it's going to be the figure number, so number 1, figure 2, figure 3, 4, and 5. So let's see, at figure 1, how many circles do we have? 3. At figure 2, count them. You will see 8. At figure 3, you have 4 and 4 and 4 and 3, that's 15. At figure 4, you have 6 and 6 and 6 and 6, that's 24, plus 4, that's 27. Actually 28. So I'm sorry, you have 5 and 5 and 5 and 5, that's 24. I'm wrong. That's why we have to check always. You go by 5 here, 5 and 5 and 5 and 5, that's 20 plus 4, 24. Now for figure 5, which we go by 6, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 times 6, 30, so you have 35. Now when we have a table, can we find A, B, and C? Yes. Using what? Using quadratic regression. This is what we do. We go to new document right here. We go to add spreadsheet. Now next to A, you type X. Next to B, you type Y. Make sure you're going to plug in the number as you see them. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, enter, 2, enter, 3, enter, 4, enter, 5, enter. Now we're going to type the Y value. 3, enter, 8, enter, 15, enter, 24, enter, and 35, enter. Now after you type all your value, you go to menu, you go to statistic, stat calculation, then this is quadratic regression, it's number 6. Make sure you type X to the X list, and then Y to the Y list, then enter. Okay, so let's redo it again. I guess I forget something. Okay, menu, stat calculation, quadratic regression. I'm gonna type X next to the Y list. I'm gonna type X list. I'm gonna type Y next to the Y list, then enter. 2 or error argument dimension. Okay, you know what? I done something not good. So let me fix my number. So for 3, we have 15. For 4, we have 24. For 5, we have 35. So for 1, we have 3. Then we have 8. Then we have 15. We have 24. So now we are good. Just, I guess, mistypo, which is good. We're going to learn from our mistakes. So menu, statistic, stat calculation, quadratic regression, number 6, then X, then Y, then enter. Here A1, B2, C0. So 1, 2, and 0. So 0, there is no C. So your equation will be what? 1n squared plus 2n. 1n squared plus 2n. Which one? It's A. I hope you enjoyed this video. And then we're going to do 6 to 10 a little bit.